All right. I don't know if anyone's going to see this video, but I guess I'll record it later. So, if you're well known with the channel, so I'm here with Rhonda Reptiles helping out with a volunteer animal adoption of some cool reptiles. I got a carpet python right here, which is really cool. So I'm going to work my way down the table. So Rhonda Reptiles is in upstate New York, and she's been doing this for over 40 years now, which is crazy. And she takes in tiny little animals. Like, let me see if I can flip the camera. How do I flip the camera? Oh, here we go. We got like a Chinese cave gecko that's hiding in there. Oh, he walked away. Look at that. Gotta go to another animal.
He's behind it now.
He's behind it? Where is he? Oh, I see him. All right, I gotta get my head in there. That's a really cool animal. So we're trying to promote Rhonda here and help her out and take care of these cool reptiles. Now, reptiles are just a little bit harder to adopt out just because they're a long-term commitment and they need a lot of specialized care. So we're trying to find owners that can take these cool animals in. Do you mind showing what you got right there?
This is a Chinese water dragon.
That's dope. And how big is it gonna get?
He gets to be as big as about a bearded dragon, if not a little bit bigger.
And the enclosure, what do you think would be a best enclosure for it?
He has about a 40-gallon size tank down there. He usually has a hide, and there's
They do like 6 inches of water.
Yeah.
And like rocks so that they can.
so
Okay.
he can swim around and stuff.
Yeah, I've seen like videos and like other guys where they do like a huge, like tall, like maybe 4-foot enclosure and like a big water dish, and they're really cool animals.
He's really small right now. He's
Yeah.
just a young. He's a little tired though.
Yeah.
Stripes.
Usually
it's
they're a
really
little
nice
drum
colors.
jumpy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, Chinese water dragons come from Southeast Asia. So you find them not just in China, but going towards like Thailand, and sometimes they'll find on little islands going to Indo-Pacific. Of course, the ones that are mainland are going to get a little bit bigger, and they have these nice green colors to them. And this is just a young little baby right here. So hopefully by next year you can see how full grown it is, whoever is going to adopt it. And then let's look down here. We have a big old bearded dragon. And unfortunately, this is one of the top animals that ends up getting abandoned or disowned by pet keepers. They're sold very cheap at the pet store, which is an unfortunate thing, and not a lot of information about them is given out. So hopefully this animal will get a new home. And he's a chunky boy, so bearded dragons live around 10 to 15 years in captivity, which is really cool. And they're almost like a dog too, so they will start to recognize their handlers in captivity, and actually sometimes it will interact with animals that are non-reptile, like dogs and cats. But it all kind of depends on the behavior and personality of that animal. Now, a cool animal we have right here, we have a giant day gecko, and these come from Madagascar. Most of the day geckos you find in the United States are either kind of a 50-50 situation. Some are actually collected in Florida because of the poor plant cultures. I actually brought them over from Madagascar, and they're invasive species. But there is a lot of people who are doing captive breeding with day geckos. They breed pretty fast after a year,
That's a carpet python.
which is cool. And then this one is pretty gnarly. Who wants to switch a snake? Here we go. I'm going to pass a carpet python. He's okay with you. I'm going to show you this. Now, this is definitely not a common animal you're going to find. Now, this is from the Indo-Pacific. There's 2 species of these. This is a frilled lizard, and they're found in Australia and also in Papua New Guinea. So the most ones you find in the United States are unfortunately wild-caught imports, which are from Papua New Guinea because there's not a lot of laws restricting them to be collected out in the wild. But if you're lucky enough, there's a few breeders that actually captive breed Australian frilled dragons, get a little bit bigger, and they have more red on their neck right here. The Papua New Guinea are a little bit more drab in color, but they're more of a tree climber, which is pretty cool compared to the Australian cousins. This one, he's just a little bit cold right now, so he's just resting my hand, but these guys can take off. They actually can run on their back legs. They actually will sit up straight like this and then run across the floor. And then, of course, they have those frills, which are really long, and they'll kind of fold them right out and try to scare away predators. But if that doesn't work, they can just... There we go. You want to show it again? Oh, there you go, buddy. Nice little frill. All right, I'm going to close. I don't want to stress them out too much. So, let's move down. And I don't want to touch this one because I'm going to be handling snakes today. There is a sugar glider, which is an Australian animal too. Oh, two sugar gliders. So this is not a rodent, but a marsupial. So they do have a pouch, and they can have a couple babies at a time. I'm not sure these are males or females, but they're kind of hiding right now. Sugar gliders are nocturnal, but they're also a very high maintenance animal. So unfortunately, these are sold all the time at the pet stores, but people don't know they get attached to their handlers. So rehoming them is a little bit difficult too, because they start to get attached to the people that rescue them as well. So you have to find like an owner that's used to that personality and those behaviors of being a little bit high strong. And another little bearded dragon right here, just saying what's up. This is the empty tank. So we're also giving these animals a startup. So of course we want the people to have a bigger enclosure or something that's very nice and aesthetically pleasing. But we want to get these people started off, whoever have these animals, that it gives them some time to actually find the animals a nicer enclosure or to do something a little bit bigger. And then we got another bearded dragon. And then we got some snakes. So let's flip the camera so I can show you this. Oh, let's show Rhonda right here. Hi, Rhonda. So this is the owner of Rhonda Reptiles. And she's the woman that's doing it for over 40 years. And how many animals do you have at home right now that you've rescued?
Probably about 200.
Say a little bit louder. 200?
Around 200, yeah.
That's a lot.
It is.
All right. And where can people find you, Rhonda?
You can get online, and you can find me at rondasreptiles.com. I have a Facebook page also that you can reach me at and message me or call.
All right. And I'm going to put that on the description. I'll make a post tonight or later on today about all the information for Rhonda Reptiles. So let me show you a snake. Am I holding the camera? I only have one person that does following right now. So I don't know who that person is, but thanks. What's up? There's a snake in. Oh, that's a carpet python. See it? So, there's a bigger snake in here. Oh, that's my snake hook. Hey, buddy. Yeah, that's okay. So, he's a little bit irritating. Give him a chance to come out. This. There we go. Come on, buddy. It's a boa constrictor. So, let me show you this guy. Okay. He's got to be almost as tall as me. Alright. I think I can do both. Let's see. Let's flip it. Oop. Let's see this guy. Flip the camera. There we go.
Hey, I'll be right back.
Okay. All right. So this is a boa constrictor. And it's also a really common reptile that you will see that gets abandoned. And it's because they're really cheap. And also it's more of a flex. So of course people want to get a large snake, but they don't want to spend thousands of dollars on getting like an anaconda. And a lot of laws are restricting keeping large constrictors in captivity. So the alternative people like to usually get that's affordable is a boa constrictor. But just like any other large snake, they need a lot of space. So you can't just stick this in a 40-gallon tank for the rest of his life. Birdcage, and he wants them. Sorry, I'm just reading your message here. Yeah, get in touch with me, send me a message, and we'll talk about the tanks you got. Yeah, send me a message later on Judith Love. Oh, you're the one that dropped off the turtle. Okay. Someone has like some tanks, so I told him to send me a message. All right, where was I? So this boa constrictor, it's not even full grown yet. So they can get around 6 to 9 feet. Of course, people talk about I got this 10-foot boa constrictor in my house, and that's usually from power feeding. So power feeding is overfeeding the snake that it grows at a rapid rate, but they end up animals dying from fatty liver disease within 8 to 10 years. So you're not getting a snake that'll live like a full 25, maybe 30 years in captivity. And you're wondering, yes, I have the snake, it's heavy. So this thing's got to be close to maybe 8 to 9 pounds. Just from his size, it's a solid snake, and he's just holding on to me. He's not going to constrict or bite me. He's just holding on. These guys are tree climbers, so people unfortunately stick these guys in just one long, shallow tank, which is not good for their muscle structure because they start to get fat, just like overfeeding them, and they get like muscle dystrophy. I'm not pronouncing that right. Their muscles get really soft and squishy and really fatty, which is not good. But hopefully someone can find a home for this snake today. You can see how it's just wrapping around me. And these guys eat large rabbits, birds. You can feed them chickens. This one is probably eating large rats right now and rabbits. And you can do frozen thawed. So I know you probably know someone that says like, oh, they only eat live rodents. That's not true. These guys are opportunistic eaters. So they will eat dead animals if the opportunity came up to them. And that's just heating up the food that the animal will sense that it is almost as it was alive. And I can talk about that maybe in another video, how to feed frozen thawed rodents to snakes. But I'm pretty sure there's a lot of videos about that. But it's not true that a snake is just going to eat live animals. And you can see this animal's not trying to hurt me. He's just wrapping. Now it's curious. So snakes do have different modes in their behavior where he's thinking. He's just wondering what's going on because he has all these noises. And you can see too, that mark right there is from probably his previous owner. So he has a lot of scar tissue right around his nose. And that's probably from being in a metal screen cage and probably being something that's too small and that it was trying to escape and bust out. So let me see if I can find one more animal. Give me a second. Let me put this snake back in the cage.
You can use the syringe. Yeah.
And if people are asking why is that snake in such a small tub, it's just for transporting. So later on, it's going to go in a wide enclosure, usually something about 6 foot long by 4 feet in height. A lot of branches to climb because these guys come from Colombia, Guyana, Brazil, Argentina. A lot of climbing areas where those animals are going to hang out. I'm trying to think of a cool animal I can show you. Let me see. I'm trying to see something that's really cool and quick. You want to see a day gecko? I guess I could show you a day gecko real quick. And then afterwards, I think I showed you all the animals. Don't want to take out the sugar gliders because if I smell like rodent or anything that looks soft and fluffy, animals start to bite. Oh, actually, let's talk about this animal real quick because this is another maybe top 5 rescue. Let me flip the camera. Ooh. You want to talk about this green iguana? Can you stick it in a 20-gallon tank all the time?
Oh, she's going to be real angry if you do that.
So what's her name?
We're calling her Scarlet.
Okay.
She's a red iguana.
And what's her rescue situation?
I'm pretty sure someone came up and just dropped her off at Rhonda's house because she was too big.
Okay.
She's actually really sweet. Some iguanas can get aggressive with age, especially like if they're males and they get like go through puberty, like have hormones.
Yeah.
And they can get really aggressive. But she's actually pretty sweet, but she's just too big to handle, and she doesn't like being in a cage, kept up in anything small. Like a room is pretty much too small. She wants to be free roam.
Yeah, she's giving you a dirty look right now. She's like, you mentioned about a cage.
Yeah, you said a cage.
You're right.
And she's just got these big claws, and if she does get upset, she can hurt someone with this tail. She can whip you.
I have felt an iguana tail whip, and it is not good. It's like a coach whip or a bull whip. More exactly, it's more like a bull whip because it's this long thing.
Yeah, and
it just cracks you. Yeah, so these iguanas live. Healthy iguanas live for 20 years, and of course, people have talked about Florida where these guys are just invasive everywhere, and that's because of the pet trade. Yeah. So they're bred pretty prominently in South America for the food trade and the pet trade. And of course, they got loose because of the hurricanes and people dumping them in Florida. Now they're all the way up to Miami to South Florida towards Flamingo Everglades has all the way down there. So it's right at the tip of Florida and all the way going up north, which is unfortunate because now they're banning iguanas in Florida, and that's because improper hobbyists are just like dumping these things out, and then everyone's upset like why they're taking it.
Big, just go outside.
Yeah, just take it outside. And of course, like
they do so well there.
They do exactly. There's no predators like in South America. Animals are gonna be in like boa constrictors and jaguars and caiman.
Nice and warm.
Yeah, And the only thing that they worry about is dogs and cats and maybe a raccoon that wants to grab a small iguana. A female like her can actually lay over 40 eggs once a year, which is a mass. That's a lot of
Yeah,
babies.
that's a lot.
And if there's nothing eating them, most of those babies survive their first year, and then a year after that, they're already having more babies. And like you were saying, their temperament is not great. So I remember in late 90s, this was my first reptile growing up as a
Really?
kid, because it was a rescue situation. It was a green iguana female about her size before it passed away. We had it for 7 years. Someone dumped it in the apartment that my family knew.
Yep.
Didn't take care of it. Had mites. We thought it was a male.
Yeah.
Maybe it was a good thing it was not a male,
Yeah.
because it would have got over 6 feet.
Yeah.
Ended up being a female. We had her for a good amount of time, but also didn't like being in the cage.
Yep.
They liked to free roam, like a lot of space. If you checked out my YouTube channel, did a rescue thing recently where someone dumped an iguana out in Troy. Left it out there, got caught by a cat. Lucky enough, the neighbors didn't kill it because they thought it was just a pest anyway.
Yeah.
And they gave it to me. Now it's at a zoo where it's going to live the rest of his life, which is really cool. And this iguana's giving me a dirty look again. They always have
They're
such
really
a weird
good at
person.
that.
They're really good at giving dirty looks.
Yeah.
So this is great because a lot of people see maybe Instagram or social media videos where the iguana seems super chill, but no one's seeing the rest of the video where the animal's whipping you and pooping and peeing all over the floor. This one's at a good temperament, which I like because I can actually come up and pet it just like that. It's like a cat. Like you just want to pet it. Like, all right, that's cool. And the nails thing too. It's like I remember in the 90s people were saying this is a great beginner pet because they're only sold for $20 at the pet store.
They're cheap.
And then no one talks about the nails, which are huge.
They'll make you bleed. No problem.
I have scars from that tiny iguana I rescued, and it's just a mess dealing with it all day. But lucky enough, it's going to be in a huge enclosure at that zoo, and hang out, and it's going to live the rest of life. I don't even know if it's a male or female. I was like, I don't want to mess around with it too much. And hopefully today, someone can take it. Now, the reason why it's red and not the typical green, this is just from captive breeding them and selectively changing their phenotypes, which is just a physical color. And of course, same thing. It doesn't matter if they're red, a blue, yellow. All have the same almost behavior and personality traits that you're going to get in iguana. So the color doesn't really matter, except I guess we should talk about the exceptions. The albino iguana. So Tom Crutchfield started breeding albino iguanas and noticed with the behavior that they are more timid because they can't see, which I thought they would make them more high strung, but I guess not. That's the only weird exception I can think of for the green iguana morphs or colors from breeding them. Everything else is just an iguana. It's a highly experienced animal that needs a lot of time and care. It can live over 20 years. There's a dog. I'm not going to get in that. Just everything that should be here but the dog. But all right, I'll get one more pet. Now, if you guys are in the area in upstate New York, we're in Rotterdam Mall, right near Via Aquarium, right over there, behind that guy's head, right there, right the person's head. If you want to stop by, or like I said, I'm going to put in the link in the description. I'll make a post later on today where you can donate. If you have any money, especially for the holiday season, if you want to help out Rhonda. Also, if you are here, you get a cool t-shirt so you can look like us and get an alligator. Rhonda also has alligators, so alligators need to eat a lot of food. So if you want to donate a couple bucks or a chicken, if you have a chicken laying around, let us know. But I'm going to hang up now, and hopefully I get to see you guys later.